right, hey, good morning, folks. Once again, we are back taking a look at the tropics. Today is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. This is your quick morning tropical update. Don't have time for a full one this morning, but I did want to go over the latest on Invest 91L, the rest of the Atlantic tropics, and Super Typhoon Hinnamnor over in the Western Pacific. So we're going to cover all that here this morning. Real quick look at the satellite picture of the basin this morning. The Hurricane Center has dropped two of our areas of interest from yesterday, no longer expecting the Caribbean invest to get going. And this little swirl near Bermuda got ate up by like a little front type thing. So that's no longer interesting to us either. So we are only dealing with Invest 91L still out here in the central Atlantic basin. This is slowly going to lift northward of the Antilles in a couple of days. And we also have a big wave still leaving Africa that's slowly moving across the basin. Those are our two Atlantic players this morning. And then we have the typhoon across the basin. So Hurricane Center's morning outlook showing 80% chance of development as of the 8 a.m. advisory. Same thing they've been carrying for the next couple of days. They expect this to develop into a tropical depression later this week, probably in like that Friday time frame, but still struggling here somewhat this morning. We also have our wave behind there that's still, expected to develop, but it's probably going to move over some cooler water later on in the week, and this one doesn't look like it's likely going to be any threat to the eastern U.S., so good news there. Too far out, and it's just too likely to recurve out to sea. So morning look at 91L, still have this vigorous low level circulation. Still broad though, and still elongated. You can see the wave axis still kind of off, tilting heavily off to the right. Definitely not upright, where these waves would typically be more likely to develop. Thunderstorm activity remains pretty robust and somewhat consistent, but again, we've only really seen it kind of along this difference of air mass, where you have your more mid-level air coming in from the Atlantic here. You have this deep tropical flow out of Central America and South America rather. So you almost have two different air masses right here, which is helping fuel this thunderstorm activity. And it's not exactly fully tropical. It's not tropical, but it's not fully tropical either. But bottom line is Invest 91 hasn't really changed the satellite presentation at all from yesterday. It looks like almost the same thing. You could see some organization of thunderstorms more in the center here. There could be some low-level circulation. We didn't get a morning satellite pass worth of crap. It cut off, so we can see that there could partially be a circulation right here up under those central thunderstorms, but it's slowly getting itself together, but it's still taking its sweet time. Morning computer models are still showing a recurve. The ensemble suite here still all showing a confident lift north of the Antilles by a considerable amount. And again, the more further north and east this gets early, the more likely it is to continue to want to turn away. Intensity guidance still showing that almost all models are showing this becoming at least tropical storm. Several get it into hurricane intensity as it's turning back away. That would probably be the most likely thing. And the GFS and Euro ensembles are now also calling pretty confidently this is going to turn back out to sea. The high pressure system that's going to be controlling this is pretty weak, and I think there's going to be enough of a break here along the east coast. So as this lifts up, it's going to find a break and simply disappear out to sea. So that's something we've been watching. And so far, the trends continue to look good. I'm not going to completely 1,000,000% buy it yet, but so far, I've seen nothing to tell me this is a considerable threat to the eastern U.S. So something we should keep watching just in case. But it looks like 91L will become Danielle around Labor Day weekend. It'll be our fourth named storm, and we'll probably snap a 60-plus day streak going on of no-name storms. And to this point in the Atlantic Basin, we are as quiet as we've almost ever been. Only, I think, 1988 has generated less total storm energy to this point in the season. So that we know of. So it's been a quiet season. So we will have Danielle, but so far it looks like this is going to pull up and eventually turn away. With our African wave back here sputtering, it might go quiet again for September. We might have a complete dud of a hurricane season on our hands, which would be great news after the years we've had in 2020 and 2021. All right, let's go over to the Western Pacific. We have Typhoon Hinnamnor, Super Typhoon Hinnamnor, rather. Morning satellite presentation. This little guy is quite the sight to behold. The strongest tropical cyclone of the 2022 calendar year in any basin. Classic buzzsaw appearance here this morning. Cold cloud tops and that central dense overcast maintaining very well this morning. There's a little bit of northerly shear impinging on the storm. And I think like overall it's a little constricted. You see the southern outflow channel is beautiful, but and you see cirrus clouds off to the south, but you don't see as much to the north, telling me there's a little bit of upper disturbance right here that's probably impinging on Hinnamnor, and that what's likely happening is that's what's pushing it more to the south. The system's going to begin to dive more southwest in the next day or so, likely where it'll have a little less constriction. Like you can see these clouds here get kind of smushed down by the end of the satellite loop. So as it dives away from that disturbance, it'll probably peak at intensity. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center still forecasts this to become near a Category 5. Now they've dropped the 145 knot forecast. They're at 135 knots, which is only 155 miles an hour. So technically it may not get Category 5, but it very well could at some point during its life. You can see here some of the Japan southern islands, Okinawa right here. It's going to dive south of Okinawa, which is good news. It's going to avoid some of these islands here, but some of the more southern islands are still going to get walloped by this thing, and a lot of rainfall and heavy weathers to come. Again, I just want to point out the stalling. So this is September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd, September 4th, and then 5th it'll probably be somewhere like right here. So you're talking about through 4.5 days of these islands getting at least a lot of rainfall. The rainfall totals from the GFS are pretty impressive. This is in millimeters. You can see islands like Okinawa miss the worst of it, but we're still talking about probably like 6 to 10 inches, if not more. But some of these more southern islands and the worst of this could be getting well over a foot of rain from the system as it slowly dives down and then moves back up and through. And it'll also be a flood threat down the road to parts of Japan and the Korean Peninsula. So definitely something to watch over there as well, but definitely a maybe not the worst disaster this could have been, because the storm will be weakening as it makes this turn. It'll be coming down from its Category 5 intensity right here back to like Category 2 to 3, which is still bad, but maybe not parking a Category 5 over these islands like we thought we might be seeing a couple days ago. So still a serious concern, and still is going to likely prompt a lot of issues over here, but still something we're going to watch carefully over the next few days as well. This will likely peak tomorrow and going into the day after, and then it'll begin to weaken as we go into September. So something to watch over there, and we are still watching the Atlantic Basin, but again, after 91L likely moves up out of here, it looks like it's going to be quiet again. So that's your morning update. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.